כל השנה הלכות בכל יום מובטח לו שהוא בן העולם הבא. בעזרת השם, today is the 20th of the month of Elul, Wednesday, 4th day of the week of Parashat Netzavim Vayelech. We'll be discussing today two mitzvot d'oraita. Mitzvah number 591. You're not allowed to take a mashkon, you're not allowed to take a collateral from a widow. What does that mean? Does that mean that you can never take a collateral from a widow that borrows money from you? Really not necessarily. That doesn't mean that. We'll see. We'll find out right now what it means. And mitzvah number 592. Mitzvah to forget Omer. When you forget sheaves, after harvesting, after you gathering and you left the place, now your mitzvah you have to keep it there. That's mitzvah d'oraita, an obligation. Whatever you forgot to allow it to stay there. Okay, בעזרת השם, המצוות today are sponsored. לעילוי נשמת אהרון בן משה. להבדיל לחיים, לרפואה שלמה לכל חולי עמו ישראל, ובכללם ליעקב בן רחל, חיה בת לאה, יוסף חיים בן מפרד, יעקב ישראל דניאל בן אנג'לה, רפואה שלמה לכל חולי עמו ישראל. מצווה נאמר 591, שנמנעו מלמשכן האלמנה, האלמנות, we are prohibited to take a collateral from a widow. שנאמר, as it says in דברים chapter 24, פסוק י"ז, ולא תחבול בגד אלמנה. You're not allowed to take clothing of a widow. ולשון המשנה, what does that mean? Gemara explains, במציע, page 115, first side, אלמנה בין שהיא ענייה, בין שהיא עשירה. It's talking about a widow, whether she is a very poor person or a very wealthy person. And you are prohibited to take a collateral from a widow altogether. Now let's see. Mishosha mitzvah. What's the point of this mitzvah? Shechas Hashem al briotav v'ratza lizechotenu leknot benavshenu midat hachemla. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is very merciful on us, and He is beloved Father, and He's giving us merits that we should to acquire such a thing that's called merciful feelings. V'tzivanu shenirachem al almana, and therefore He has commanded us to have mercy on a widow. Shelibava shavur, for her heart is broken. V'doeg shelo lemishkana. And therefore Hashem says that you should not collateral her, you should not mortgage her. Obviously, all the ways of Torah are pleasing, and they are of peace. Now, what does that mean exactly? So what happens to a widow comes to you, Jonathan? You're a man in a business of lending money without interest, obviously. Rav Jonathan, can I have $10,000? She's by the way, I'm an almana. You got to tell her, no, I can't take a collateral from me. Does that really mean that? Let's see. The whole problem over here is that you're not allowed to go into her house after she fails paying the debt. After, you're not allowed to take from her collateral, not even with the Beit Din. You're not allowed to make her suffer in order to take from her the collateral. You hear the word suffering. ויתר פרטים המוארים בפרק 90 במציע, ונהג אסור לזה בכל מקום בכל זמן וזכרים ונקבות. All the things that are more discussed over there. Now, what are we talking about here? The whole problem over here, it says the rabbi specifically only ועובר על זה וחבל בגדיה או כליה או שום דבר מכל אשר לא לה, שלה בעת הלוואה מחזירין אותו. See what's going on here? This is talking about only when you're coming to collect the collateral after she fails to pay. But if she's giving you collateral, she's coming to you and says, Jonathan, I want $10,000. And you say to her, $10,000 a lot of money, what's your guarantee you're going to pay back? She says, here's my car. She's giving you her Lexus, saying, this is my collateral. Or here's a diamond ring. It's worth $25,000. I'll give you 20 this diamond ring as a collateral. You are allowed to do that. Do that, you're allowed to. That you're allowed to. Why? Because right now, you're negotiating. This is not tsar. This is not suffering for her. You didn't cause her to suffer. It's Hashem's problem. Why she needs a $10,000 loan? It's Hashem's problem. So He caused her suffering. Good. So now, if she comes to you and asks you $10,000, and you say, "Here, I'll give you $10,000, no problem." Good. Now she fails to pay. You going to her house, or you bringing a Beit Din, you making her suffer. It's your problem, and you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to make her suffer. You tell her, "Listen, lady, we have a deal. Very nice. You could take her to Beit Din, and the Beit Din will put a lien on her house. No problem. But you cannot go in there and take a collateral. But if she comes to you and she says, "Here's my diamond $25,000 ring. Give me $10,000 loan. Here's my car," whatever it is, she's giving it to you on her own will. That's her problem. Now it's her problem. It's not yours. That you are allowed to do, and that is encouraging. As we know, the Chazal tell us you can't give out loans unless you have some kind of collateral or you have some kind of guarantee. You're going to get paid. You're a bank.
All the time they take collateral?
Not all the time. If you are trusting a person and somebody guarantees, okay. If you have other guarantors, you have to know that you're going to get your money. You can't be frivolous with your money. Give out loans. Unless you're a person who says, "Listen, HaKadosh Baruch Hu give me bracha."
I'm talking about people have to make mach.
What?
The people who are going to do gemach.
Of course. If somebody is doing gemach, let's say I'm in charge of gemach. Chas v'shalom, I'm not allowed to give out money without proper guarantees, and most gemach even two guarantors. I don't care who the person is, unless he's a normal guy. Even one guarantor, they always ask. In our community where I used to live, like it's a good thing. Every community must establish gemach as the first thing, even probably before opening a shul. It's so important. People don't understand it. Okay, and the gemach is don't give tzedakah money. Gemach is your money. You could request it back anytime you want. It's your money. And now this, in order to have a proper mitzvah,
I can ask the money anytime I want.
yeah, of course, that's what the gemach is. You gave the money to the gemach. Gemach is your bank. Just like an investor will go to a bank, unless they have a guarantee, like a signing a contract for 10, 15 years, you're not touching the money, we'll give you the dividends. What's the dividends in the Gemach in Torah? It's Hashem. Hashem gives a big reward for that. It's a dividends. It's a big dividends. Hashem, out of this world, it's much bigger than money dividends. That's for sure. So what happened was, a person who runs a Gemach, or a person who's on his own, lending out to people money, he has to be like a banker. He has to make sure.
Let's say I put money in the gemach.
Yeah.
And somebody took
Right.
all the process and everything.
Right.
Tomorrow I understand that I need the money.
You reach out.
They have the money.
Okay, if they don't have the money, that's like anybody else. It's like anybody who gave a loan. They don't have money. You don't have to bother them. A poor person, you give him $10,000. He ain't got no money now. It's Avera. We already know it's Avera to go approach him. Where's my money? Where's my money? Hello, he doesn't have the money. What do you want from him? If you know for a fact, if the guy is loaded and he has bank accounts and he has Rolex watches and he's wearing $75,000 jewelry and the guy owes you $50,000. Hello, Habibi, give him money. I mean, that has to make sense. So now, what happens to a person who went ahead and took from a lady, a widow, a mashka? ואם תודה לו החוב, בית דין, מכריחין אותה לשלם מה שהיא חייבת. Okay? So now, the בית דין, you are allowed to take her to בית דין, she doesn't want to pay on time. ואם תחפור תשבה ותפטר, ואם עבד המשכון, או שנשרף קודם שיחזרנו, חייב מלכות. Oh, a man went ahead into her house and took from her the collateral. Or a beit din took from her collateral on his force, which they're not allowed to, but let's say they did. And now the collateral got lost or damaged. What do? Besides that he owes the money on the collateral, right? Whatever it's worth. Now the beit din has to go and beat up the guy. 39 lashes. Shalom. Not allowed to. ובוודאי יקבל אותו הבעל חוב בפירעון חובו. ואם כן, אני תמה איך הוא לוקם ומשלם. אוקיי, so second. ואם עבד המשכון או שנשרף, קודם שיחזרנו חייב מלכות, כאן כתב הרמב"ם. That's what Rambam ז"ל. בוודאי יקבל אותו הבעל חוב בפירעון חובו. אם כן, אני תמה. So he's asking a question. Really, he says, I don't understand. Let's say the guy went ahead and took the collateral from her, right? Okay, and then it got lost. Let's say she doesn't pay him. What's the point of collateral? Most collateral is, let's say, it's not like an American business, which is fraud. If she gives you a $25,000 diamond on a $10,000 loan, you could sell the diamond. She has to get back the rest. It's not yours. You're not making profit over here on the loans. That's not how the Torah works. You must return the rest, whatever is left, the severance, whatever the remaining is. It's not a business over here. Again, this is a very, very sticky thing today, especially people make a lot of business, heter iska, and all those things. I say like this to everybody, from my experience, best is not to borrow money on heter iska also. Not to borrow money on heter iska. Okay, unless you're buying a mashkon, a building, maybe that as a business over there I could understand. Anything else, not kedai. Huh?
Like a shortcut.
Yeah. Small loans or personal loans, business loans, all those things that is called, don't even start there. It's not worth it. Mitzvah number 592. Mitzvah le'aniach omarei hashakacha. So now a person was harvesting. We know what after the harvesting they put in the sheaves, right? To tie it together, the stalks and whatever it is the grain. And what happened was a person after they loaded up the truck and when on the field they counted 95 stock, 95 sheep. They arrive at the factory on the farm, wherever the barn, wherever they store it now, right? All of a sudden they're counting 94. So the manager comes to the owner and says, Habibi, we counted 95 at the field, now we have 94. Should we go and figure out where's the one missing? The halacha is, you say, Mr. Manager, it's asur for you to go anywhere. Sit here. Continue doing your job, clear, separate the sheaves from the grain from the sheaves, from the stalks, very nice, that's going to continue doing that. Whatever we forgot, we must leave it alone. שנשכח עומר בשדה להניחו שם ולא נשוב לקחתו כשיודיע עלינו הדבר. So now we have a commandment. We arrived home or to the barn, to the storage barn, and we were told, Habibi, you lost it. The halacha is you must leave it there. ועל זה נאמר, it says in the Torah, chapter 24 in דברים, pasuk 19, ושכחת עומר בשדה, when you forgot the Omer is the sheep, in the field, lager leyatom ulalmana, you must leave it for a ger, for a widow, or for a orphan. Klomar shenicheu sham lahem. You must leave it there. Specifically talking about poor people, obviously, people who need it. Usually, the three people are in the category: a ger who doesn't have a family to support him, you have or any bechlal background, and then Atom v'almanam. But Baruch Hashem, this generation, most of the gerim that I know, they're loaded. Everybody's fighting. Everybody's fighting to have their gerim in their shul. Hello, Habib. Okay, Baruch Hashem. If they're loaded, they're loaded. But they should not be that you are making them gerut because of money. That's the worst thing in the world. All right, listen. And not to make any shortcuts because of their money. No shortcuts. No ger should have any shortcut. Every ger should have proper learning and to be part of our membership. Membership of Klal Yisrael is not a small thing, and there's a lot to be said. תולין עיניהם על התבואות, בראותם בעלי השדות, מעלמים עלומים בתוך השדה, כברכת השם אשר נתן להם. So, בחטאם ובעניותם, right? So you have poor people and these orphans, they're all seeing this shefa. What happens is people see you collecting all this bracha, right? So they have the desire now for it. וחושבים בליבם לומר מי ייתן ויהיה לי כן לאסוף עומרים לביתי. So all these poor people, constantly in their back mind, they're thinking, when is it going to be one day that I'm gonna do the same thing? I'm gonna have a big field and collect all the produce. By the way, we're still waiting for the avocados and mangoes. Anybody has, bring it. So he says, even if I get one of those sheep, I'll be happy. This is what the ani thinks to himself when he sees the rich men collecting, gathering all their fields. Therefore, what did Hashem do? Hashem has mercy on his creatures. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will allow, in this case, a rich man was not so careful. He was in a hurry, or there was a rainstorm coming. So he was, let's go. You know, time is money, they say, the rich people, which is a mistake. Which is a mistake. It's money time. Money is time. Not time is money. Anyway, we'll discuss. Time is more important than money, Baruch Hashem. So this guy is rushing, and he forgot. Why Hashem made it forgot? Hashem says, you forgot, give it to the poor people. Just to satisfy their desires. Owner of the field will have the whole point of the whole concept of regilut. People don't understand. It's a haram. I don't understand these people. In Brooklyn, New York, the Spanish people hate our guts. What have to do with us, Spanish people? Why? They're not hating us because we're Jewish. What do you tell them? These Jews are cheap. Cheap. Yeah? What does that mean? Most people in the supermarkets work Spanish people, groceries, stock boys, collecting the packaging, and or delivery boys are all Spanish guys. Mazda cheap. You go to a guy is carrying at least 20 or 25 years ago. Not everybody had a car or electric bike to deliveries. People used to deliver in carriages. Tip? No tip. You brought to a house, no tip. Habibi, you in a grocery store, the guy's packing you a bag, give him $1. Give him $1. Give him a tip. Give him a tip. Stop being cheap. Why? Oh, no, I'm not going to give him a tip. No. You giving him a tip for what you know, you acknowledge, first of all, you acknowledge he's a Jew, as a human being. He's a goy, but he's a human being. It's important to have the goyim. If not, how are we going to eat a bagel? How are you going to eat the bread in the morning? People don't understand that. By you giving him a tip, you're training yourself to be merciful, which is a very important midah. כי באמת במידת הנדיבות ונפש ברכה לבלתי תת ליבו על העומר הנשכח ונכחהו לאביונים. When a person forgets it and knows, I'm going to leave it there for the poor people, and the people who are good natured, they train yourself. Like I told you, Ben Ishai, people don't understand it. Ben Ishai says clearly, when you give money to the car, from your right hand, give it to your left hand, and train your left hand to give tzedakah, because the left side does not like to do chesed. According to spirits, I don't know what that means, but whatever. That's what Ben Ishai says. Okay. מדיני המצווה, מה שם לזוכות במנוחה, אומר שיש בו צאתיים אינו שכחה. However, even these sheaves have rules. What is this? Satayim. Satayim is probably, it's talking about, sometimes you pass by those fields, and they have, big rows of sheaves. Big rolls of sheaves. Now you collect those, and you forgot one of them. Halakha is no, that's not called forgotten. That you're allowed to go back. As if you're taking to forget 2 omer, as we'll see. So you're allowed to take it. Shedemar v'shachachta omer b'sadeh. It says over there omer v'lo gadish. If you left a little bit, a little bunch, but not a whole barn. You left a whole barn, you can take it back. Also, it's talking about what about if the workers forgot it, but not the boss? But maybe if the boss forgot it, then the workers. It has to be that it was that let's say like this: the owner stays in the field, and the workers took the trucks. Now they're calling him from the barn. Boss, we forgot one sheep. The owner is still there. What are you talking about? Come take it. You never forget it. I'm still here. Or the other way around. The boss took it to the barn, and the managers, the workers are still in the field. That's not called forgetting. No, come back and take it. You didn't forget it. More rules in reference to this mitzvah are Mesachta Peah. This mitzvah is by males or females. Doesn't matter who the owner of the field is. And it's only obviously in Eretz Israel or the surrounding cities where the mitzvah of Trumot u'Masrot still applies. Even probably it's talking about today. It's talking today. Those that hold us today still Trumot u'Masrot and Midoraita. Some say Trumot u'Masrot Midrabanan, but he doesn't say it has to be Doraita. So if Eretz Israel today, let's say you have such a concept, today lechoranat, right? Somebody, this is a joke. Shnat Shmita, people buy land, and they're gonna make a mitzvah of not plowing it on Shmita year. So rabbis in Israel are making fun of this. Alas, what are you guys doing? What, today you have such a concept of the people like somebody, you saw people going into the field and collecting anything? A poor people, oh, do me a favor, stop wasting your money on buying land. Go and support poor people, give them tzedakah better, 100%. ומקומות שנוהגים שם בארוחה, בסדר שותים. So, okay, with all the places where this mitzvah, where the matron masrot is applicable, so to the shikha. ועובר הזה וחזר לשוב לקחתו ביטל לעשה ומורה בעצמו נפש רעה. A person who is very meticulous to go and collect this kind of items and not allowed to be poor, left over for the poor people, this person shows to himself that his nefesh, his soul is not so kind to and not caring for others, and it's actually called bad soul. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should give you a bracha v'atzlacha. Anyone who has to go to work should be successful in your work without any headaches, without any suffering. That's the